Today we're looking at Superboy 211, published in June of 1975 with a cover date of September of 75. It's actually two stories. The first is The Ultimate Revenge, written by Jim Shooter and penciled and inked by Mike Grell. Ben Oda inked it.
I'm rubbing my hands together thinking about Ultimate Revenge.
What would you consider to be the ultimate revenge, David?
If I could kill the man who genocided my planet, that would be the ultimate revenge.
That would be pretty good.
Or if I could track down the son of a bitch who owned my house before I bought it,
right,
and make that son of a bitch pay to fix the fucking roof.
For reals, that would be good revenge.
He's in Italy. He's probably in Tuscany with the sun blazing down on him. He's probably eating grapes, like a big old thing, handful of grapes. He's like, I'm glad I don't live in fucking Van Nuys anymore. That rain. Mamma mia.
Rat bastard.
Yeah. What about you? What's your ultimate revenge?
I don't know. I feel like revenge guides my every move. Like every comic I draw is about revenge. Everything I do is about showing them somehow, someday.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Even this podcast is about revenge. No.
They said we would never do it.
We'll show them.
They're not watching.
Yeah.
But we're showing them. I actually don't believe in revenge. I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
No one should do it.
Should turn the other cheek.
Capital punishment, that's just state-sponsored revenge. This should not be happening.
Right. Especially since most of the people who get put to death aren't guilty.
That's true. I say living well is the best revenge.
I need to get on that.
I mean, a lot of us aren't really living that well. It's kind of a problem. It's really difficult to live well.
I've always thought it was a painful irony that the like rich popular kids who kind of pick on the outsider kids. You always think, like in a good story, like the outsider kid, he becomes like Bill Gates or something. And the other guys are working at Dairy Queen or whatever, but actually it's like the student council, like popular kids who become the investment bankers, and the outsider kids are the ones working in grocery stores.
Well, yeah, the rich kids who are bullies, they're also living well. So They're getting the revenge and they're being the bullies.
Bullshit.
The system is rigged against the regular person.
Yes.
It's the system, man.
So the ultimate revenge. So it opens on what's left of the planet Trom, right? I think it's Trom.
Well, it has the splash page
with Element Lad looking menacingly, standing over a man.
Grell's foreshortening of Element Lad is kind of bonkers and ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he looks pissed.
You killed him. You broke our code.
Yeah, this is kind of like, this is the worst part. Starboy's like, you're going to be expelled from the Legion, like as if that's the worst thing that's going to happen to him for murdering somebody.
Well, right, and he should know he got expelled.
He knows firsthand how awful it is to get kicked out and have to join the substitutes.
Yeah, and if for some reason Element Lad does not end up expelled, you would think Starboy would be pretty pissed about that.
Mm-hmm. Starboy would vote to kick him out, I think.
We're seeing a mysterious spacecraft going to a dark meteor that is actually, what is it called? The portal. It's like a hideout for supervillains.
Oh yeah, it's called the Haven.
The Haven. Which is a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a cool concept. Like,
right, it's weird that this is the first and last we hear of it. Though considering how they camouflaged it, it's kind of surprising that it lasted very long at all. Because I think the camouflages, they painted it black, right?
In actual outer space, if you're far from the sun, it's so dark. There's no light. And that makes sense. But then like later on, the Legionnaires discover it by explaining that, it blocked out the light of some other shit.
Right.
And so we knew it was here by the fact of the cancellation of the other light.
Right.
In reality, if it was way out on the other side of Pluto or whatever, you wouldn't see it. There's nothing out there. You wouldn't see anything. It's so dark. It's the darkest darkness you could ever imagine.
You'd think it just being kind of camouflaged as an asteroid or whatever would be enough. As long as it was lead lined, of course.
But I think it's a pretty cool idea that there's this, a place out there that when the villain shows up, the garage door opens and you can see inside of there a little bit, but otherwise it's totally darker than dark black. But yeah, this character, he's I don't think they've introduced. Oh, he's Roxas. They introduce him right here, Roxas, the butcher, going to the Haven place to hide out. He's escaped. He's broken jail.
This is his second appearance, I think. We saw him once before.
Oh, okay.
Either Element Lad's first appearance or the first time we hear his origin. He shows up, but he has appeared before, for sure.
I think maybe in this issue they say that Element Lad joined the Legion to bring him to justice.
So we find out that he was able to escape Tarkon Galtus? How do you pronounce it?
I say Takron Galtos.
Takron, that's right. I put the R in the wrong place.
Oh, earlier today I was turning it over in my head how you might pronounce that. Like I've always said Takron Galtos, but it could be Takron Galtus or something like that, like you kind of fudge those O's and don't say them as OE.
Right.
But like a little less Kansas or something in there.
Yeah.
Like if Marlon Brando was saying it or something.
Yeah.
Remember how he said, in Superman when he said Krypton, he was like Krypton. Krypton. So maybe that's how you say Takron Galtus.
He knew someday he would probably get apprehended, so he stashed a spaceship on the planet somewhere where the incompetent science police could never find it. So it's probably in plain sight.
Yeah, this is kind of a classic jailbreak thing where he gets sent to the infirmary where there's no security. Good. One movie I saw, a guy ate a cigarette, so he gets sent to the infirmary.
Yeah.
Like one movie, the guy got a job in the infirmary. On and on. But then this other part where he has hidden a spaceship outside the jail. It's a good one. I wonder if he has done that with he scoped out every prison planet or every place where he might get sent to jail. He's like, there's a one out there. I hid a spaceship there.
He has getaway vehicles everywhere. All his girlfriends' houses have them,
Of all his girlfriends. You think this guy has more than one girlfriend?
Yeah, he's a pirate, right? He's kind of a pirate. Pirate, butcher, genocider. I don't know.
What if he was actually a butcher? Like he had a meat market. This is some kind of bad storytelling here, where the Legionnaires first appear.
Seconds later.
Well, they call him the Haven Master, the guy who runs this place. He's showing Roxas around, and then Roxas is like, "Look, the wall!" And the wall starts to break out, and then we see from behind the Legionnaires. Like they don't make a big entrance,
right?
You can't even tell that the Legionnaires are wearing spacesuits. But the only way you know is like, oh, it's a raid, the Legionnaires.
More of this strange, inconsistent technology of theirs. Like sometimes they're just wearing like a helmet, but no costume because they've got some kind of trans suit on. Sometimes the trans suit includes the helmet. Like they don't need a helmet. They can just be out in space. But this time they have full-on spacesuits.
Roxas doesn't need a spacesuit to break out of Takron Galtus, but over here on the Haven asteroid, they need their spacesuits, I guess.
Yeah, like it's like a Club Med or something. All these supervillains hanging out playing cards. Would have been cool if they'd snuck a few old villains in there that we knew.
It's kind of like the Village on The Prisoner, where all the old spies are sitting there playing checkers.
Right.
Just waiting to die.
Or become the new number 2, yeah.
Right. Oh, here's where they explain how they identified the Haven. It's in front of, it's blocking out the star field.
Yeah, I don't think that makes any sense really, unless you were up close to it, right? Like if you were further back, it wouldn't obscure that many stars, right? The further back you are from it, the fewer stars it would be blocking, I think.
Yeah, you'd never be able to see it. Unless you happen to already be
right.
there.
Monel was flying by or something, got close enough. Somebody bumped into it.
Yeah, it's kind of dorky. It's an idea. It is an idea, you know, but
I mean, it's kind of a cool starfield there.
oh yeah. Yeah, I read this in the I mean, we're looking at the actual comic now. I read it today. I read it in the Showcase Presents in black and white.
Right. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, that Grell artwork looks pretty good in black and white.
That's why I can't give up the black and white copies.
Oh, do you have all of them? I only have that's the only one I have actually, is that Volume 5 one.
The only one I'm missing, I think, is the one right before this.
Roxas gets away.
Yes.
Legionnaires raid this haven place, but Roxas gets away.
Yeah, they clean up pretty handily. We even get to see Chemical King in action, to see him use his powers. I think this may be his only prominent appearance other than his introduction and, his final appearance. They're doing fine until Element Lad spots Roxas and then just freezes up and just lets him get away.
Yeah, he hesitates for a moment, giving the wily and desperate Roxas the opportunity to rocket away.
There he goes.
Like you had him.
Performance
right
anxiety.
Here's Element Lad. Here's Roxas. He freezes, and the guy gets in his ship. He flies away. He slips past all the science police ships.
Right.
Yeah, he's froze.
Now, I think somewhere in here he mentions he can't use his power on organic things. I thought he could just turn someone into table salt if he wanted to, but...
no, what he says is that he...
energy.
Right, that's right. Only on matter, not on energy. This is a good panel right here where the team is walking back into Legion headquarters and Chemical King's tossing the log tape over to Sunboy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's like they're in Top Gun or something.
Right,
walking back.
Another mission. Yeah, very casual.
All 4 of these characters are now on vacation after the conclusion of this mission.
Yeah, it is like Top Gun. It seems more like a job than it often does.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about the coolness aspect, the swagger.
Well, right, but also you're on shore leave now, or your work is done for today, and you get to go on vacation. Other times, it's just like an informal club. The way how serious their job is depicted varies.
I bet Sunboy's like, Chemical King, you're on vacation now. And then in Chemical King's mind, it's just like, boom, 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 boom. Just like that.
I don't know. Maybe some of the other guys, Chemical King's like, what? You guys have had me on leave since my first appearance. I just got to do something, and you're sending me on vacation again.
His leaves are like 5 years at a time, huh?
It's like, are you sure it isn't my powers? They're not too complicated? Or no, there's nothing wrong.
I kind of want that kind of leave. Like, hey, David, we're about to give you a break. It's going to be 3 years. Nice. All right.
They just want him to work from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we go into a very awkward exchange. Starboy is saying he's going to go visit his parents, and he's like, how about you, Element Lad? Are you going to go see your parents? No, my parents were murdered.
Isn't this around Legion headquarters? Like, hey, guys, Element Lad is the last of his race. They all were murdered.
Don't ask about his parents.
It's a touchy subject. And also, Starboy's one of the oldest ones. He's been on the team the longest. He doesn't know this. He doesn't remember. Yeah,
he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Want to tell me about it? Which is what you say, of course, right after you hear that someone's family has tragically died somehow. Tell me all about it.
I just hurt your feelings. You want to tell me about it?
How many times were they stabbed?
But he does. He tells them about it.
Yeah.
And there's this awesome explosion. It doesn't really say how Element Lad survived. He leaves to go to school. Oh. And while he's at school, Roxas blows up the entire civilization of Trom.
Firebombing him, apparently. And then going around and shooting whoever was left in cold blood.
Pretty messed up. Pretty brutal.
Probably more brutal than they're telling us. Like, we see panels of them shooting all the girls down. Who knows what else occurred.
What else could have occurred? But this says Element Lad, he's narrating. He says, I managed to find a spaceship that survived the Holocaust and escaped.
It was actually one of Roxas's. Just in case he got stuck there. It was one of his escape ships.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In this panel, they show that Element Lad has joined the Legion, and this is where they captured Roxas. Some sometime in the past.
Man, he looks really mad. He's very masculine in these drawings, more so than he's usually depicted later. Big, heavy eyebrows, lots of lines in his face.
Mm-hmm. The big sideburns. He looks like a truck driver.
Right. Starboy's like, oh, that must have been horrible. And he's like, I must leave now.
It's like, I told you my whole story. I've got to go. I'm out of here.
I have a cruiser warming up on the flight deck. I like that he has to warm the ship up. It's cold out. You got to scrape the windshield.
It's 100 degrees below zero out there.
That's true. That's true. Superboy shows up and he's like, hi, Sunboy, what's up? I just arrived from the past. It's corny, but I kind of like how, like in these stories, like the past is just like a place. Like, I just got back from downtown or whatever.
Well, and also Sunboy knows, like Superboy just showed up. Where did he come from?
Right,
you
right.
know? I mean, this is a Jim Shooter comic.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of exposition mixed in here. He does an actually pretty good job of filling you in on stuff. Sometimes it's a little heavy-handed, but it all kind of fits. It's all right.
Right.
But yeah, that was kind of a goofy line. Hey, I just showed up from the past, Sunboy. Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
And Sunboy's like, I was just running the tape of the big raid.
Yeah, but he's all up on it. I mean, I don't know how exactly. Maybe he heard in the hall, or maybe he keeps up from the past because he can kind of communicate with them through time.
They check in with Superboy back in the past.
Yeah, I think at some point or another they've shown like they have like radios or like a telephone, a time telephone or something. They don't always have to go all the way back to talk to him, I don't think.
I bet they have it so like Triplicate Girl can like call, and when he picks up, she just like hangs up real fast. Mm-hmm. It's from a number in the future. Who would be doing that?
Yeah, like an area code. Yeah, so he's hip to Roxas. He was probably there when Element Lad first showed up anyway. So, but they are worried that he's going to exact revenge,
and that's what he's doing. I like the scene where they've got the guy from the Haven, the guy who runs the Haven, and they're doing hypno prisms on him to get him to talk. More of this fascist questioning stuff like this. He's innocent, right? Like, do they have innocent until proven guilty in the 30th century? Or it's like, no, we got you. We're going to make you talk with a prism.
But it's not very effective, apparently, because what was his response like? Somewhere you'll never find it or something like that.
Or somewhere you'll never expect to find him, maybe.
Right. So it doesn't work so swell. You know, I meant to bring it up and I blanked on it, but when his planet is being destroyed, firebombed, it's being firebombed with photon torpedoes.
Oh, yeah. That's a Star Trek thing, right? Like,
Right.
I meant to actually look that up. I wonder if that originated on Star Trek or if they got it from somewhere else.
They got it from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Surely.
I wondered if Star Trek got it from somewhere else, but probably.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Came straight from Star Trek.
It's funny how often they kind of blatantly swipe it. I think we've talked about it before. Maybe because the internet wasn't around and they're just thinking kids are going to read this and they're not going to get in trouble for it. Or maybe at that time, Star Trek was only around a couple years and then canceled and they figured we'd never hear from those guys again. So we can just use whatever from it, kind of get away with it.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I think it's like all the stuff from Star Trek is so much a part of sci-fi now. It's like, we use phasers and photon torpedoes and transporter beams.
Yeah, like certainly by now. But this is probably just a few years. I even said at the beginning what year this was.
Oh, it's like 1974 or something, right?
Yeah, 75. Star Trek's been gone for 6 or 7 years. There's no sign that it's going to show up again. Maybe they're like, no one's ever going to see or hear it, so you just use it.
I mean, I bet it's being rerun, but I think that they probably it's just part of the public domain of sci-fi concepts now. All that Star Trek stuff because it's been around for 5 years.
Right. Well, that won't be the last Star Trek thing we see in this issue.
Element Lads tracked him down to the dead planet Trom.
Legion, they're rushing to get there.
Were you fooled when or were you fooled? Not fooled, but
Fueled.
When they reveal that Roxas, he's going to be in the last place you'd ever look to find him. Where did you think you would be?
Like Shrinking Violet's bathroom.
I bet it's pretty cramped in there.
Right. Matchbox.
I said Trom. I bet he's on Trom.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't trick me at all.
And the Legion deduced they'd be there too, right?
Element Lad did. Because he's there waiting for him. He was like they're trying to track him down. Yeah, it's not a very good hiding place. Roxas is kind of... I don't know why the science police didn't find him when he escaped jail.
Mm-hmm.
Science police are fucking dumb.
I think they even might mention he's been here a time or two in between. Element Lad, is he using...
He's using his hand to turn all the metal on Roxas into nitrogen so he can't use a weapon, a metal weapon.
Man.
He might have a plastic gun.
Hopefully he doesn't have like metal rods in his knees or anything.
So much the better, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that's why he dropped to his knees. Very clever to hide out on the very planet you wiped out. Maybe he's being sarcastic there.
He's like, I never forgot what you did to my people and my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like you executed them on a mass scale. I never forgot about that. Some people might forgot that somebody did that.
Yeah. I've got a long memory.
Like, I don't have a great memory, but I probably would have remembered the name of the guy responsible for murdering my parents.
Yeah, so they're trying to stop him from murdering Roxas.
Element Lad's holding a death ray on Roxas. He's like, Element Lad says, he's mine.
Starboy's like, don't do this. You'll end up on the subs. You'll have to be stuck with all those losers. It'll be like 9-10 issues before you can come back.
You will regret it, he says. You'll be hanging out with Chlorophyll Kid.
Right. I like it's like a tough cop 70s thing. Like, you'll get kicked out of the Legion if you murder someone. He's like, I quit. It's funnier on the cover because he like adds that. It's like, he says he's going to kill him anyway, and then he's like, oh, and by the way, I resign. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a good way to say it, yeah. Roxas deserves to die, and I resign. In the comic, it's more of like a if-then scenario. Like if I have to quit to kill him, I'm going to do it.
Right.
But on the cover, it's like, I'm doing these two things. I'm killing this guy and I quit. I'm out of here.
Right.
I like the turn of events here where he is just going to be like, fuck you, I quit then. You know, I want to kill this guy.
Right.
And they're like, you're going to regret it. I'm not going to regret it. I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to fucking quit. I don't give a fuck about you fucks.
Yeah.
Like, this is a totally different guy than the Element Lad that we all know, who's super nice and he's like a space hippie and all this stuff. Like, this guy,
he's not wearing pink anymore.
Like, he's Dirty Harry here.
Right. Charles Bronson.
This isn't even a Legion issue gun. This is his own gun that he bought with his own money.
Mm-hmm. Superboy tries to stop him, but Chemical King gets in the way, saying the scum deserves to die, and allows Element Lad to exact his revenge.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Chemical King is helping Element Lad murder a man. Somehow Chemical King has the power to stop Superboy in his tracks. Superboy is determined to do something at super speed, is what he says. I'm going to stop him at super speed. Like, if Superboy's doing something at super speed, isn't he moving like faster than a speeding bullet?
Well, maybe Chemical King slowed down his reactions as well.
Oh, he uses powers? Could be. It kind of just looks like he jumps in front of Superboy.
Right.
And I was thinking if he really did that, he would be turned into a puff of pink mist.
Right. He'd just be obliterated.
Yeah.
And we see, like, Superboy uncharacteristically pissed. He, like, kind of picks him up by the scruff of his neck and...
Oh, yeah. Superboy picks him up.
He's got his fist up there like he's about to knock his head off.
Right. He's gonna get some ultimate revenge on Chemical King. By the way, this first panel on this page is the same artwork as the cover with a little bit of changes to put Chemical King in front of Superboy. Not the cover, the splash page.
It's the very same artwork, or
Mike Grell getting a little lazy.
You got to do what you got to do to hit those deadlines.
I don't think Mike Grell ever had a problem hitting deadlines. I think he busted them out. I think he was fast. This is a good panel too, where they're confronting him after he's murdered this guy and kind of telling him off, and they're like, "Did it feel good? Did you bring back all those dead people by murdering this guy?" And in his death, Roxas triumphed. He brought you down to his level, Element Lad. You're no better than Roxas now, Element Lad. Like, you're just as good as fucking genocidal. You're like Hitler now, Element Lad.
Might as well change your name to Hitler Lad.
Hitler Lad. And then he has second thoughts. He drops the gun. He's like, "What have I done? I was out of my mind."
Right. So then we see Chemical King. He reveals it was all part of his plan, that he slowed down Roxas's chemical reaction so he would kind of pass out and appear dead. And simultaneously, he somehow changed the reactions of the gun, the chemical composition or something, so that it didn't work. So he did not actually kill anyone.
He has this dramatic thing where he shows that the gun is harmless, and by shooting himself in the head with it.
Right, which just maybe just because we live in an age where we've seen a couple movie stars die doing exactly this, it just seems idiotic, even if it was shooting blanks. Like one actor died doing that, shooting a blank at his head, like 20 years ago, and then that Crow guy died, of course.
I think it just doesn't quite work in a comic book. Like if this was a TV show where you could pick up the gun, hold it to your temple, and be like, "Now I'm going to shoot myself," and then click, it doesn't do anything. And then he
kind of looks like a water gun too.
Well, right, yeah, it's not a very menacing gun,
right?
But he does all that in one panel, so you don't quite get the impact of like, oh, now Chemical King is going to shoot himself in the head.
That's how he died.
But yeah, he shows that the gun is harmless and that Roxas was unharmed.
Right.
Chemical King explains this and says, I knew that Element Lad would regret this after he pulled the trigger.
Right,
so I went through all this baloney to have him kill and then feel bad about it. Like, I don't know. Come on.
Well,
Chemical
there's
King.
Nothing in the Legion Constitution about attempted murder.
Right. Apparently. Right.
Right. Even though he fully intended to do it, like he went through with it, but since he technically didn't die, he's in the clear, I guess.
But see, just like all cops, his homies had his back.
Right.
He just needed one homie
to
help him learn the error of his ways by committing a crime.
Right.
But then it's actually not a crime because somebody fixed it. Somebody rigged it in advance.
But, he says he's sorry that he lost control.
I knew you'd realize how wrong it was after you pulled the trigger.
After you killed him.
But then even more messed up, Roxas wakes up, he's like, I'm alive? That's why I meant to die. That's why I surrendered.
Right.
Death by cop.
But that sort of cushions the blow of Element Lad's transgression, I guess. Because he wanted to die.
Yeah.
Crazed eyes of Roxas look really good in black and white.
They look a little strange here. I mean, he still looks crazy, but yeah, just like this white circle pupil. Mm-hmm. Pretty nuts.
And we see that he is being haunted by, or at least he thinks he's being haunted by, all the Traumites he killed, which may be what's being referenced in some of those scenes where he's in the dark talking and seemingly talking to himself.
He's lost his mind. He's gone stark raving mad. The Legionnaires in the last panel say, oh, you can't just put him in regular jail now. He's too insane.
And that is the ultimate revenge.
Right. That's the name of the story.
Right. All comes together.
Letting him live is the ultimate revenge, not killing him. That's how I feel about revenge too. It's like, no. Murder? No. Life, the ultimate misery is remaining alive. Can't do worse than being alive.
Yeah, good thinking. We should just let him live. I mean, what's he gonna do? Like, get loose and like murder one of our one of our teammates.
No, he's never going to get loose and get a revenge on us. No.
Yeah.
I love this panel. This is a good panel of him crying after having gone incurably insane.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a great panel. This looks really good in the black and white version where the ghosts are tormenting him.
Oh, for sure.
And it's your misfortune that you don't have the ads and you can't see this ad that says, "Look who's smiling now." This guy. Because he's gone to LaSalle Extension University Correspondence Institution.
He looks like Rich Little from my tiny little screen.
No, he doesn't look like Rich. He looks like that guy from 30 Rock, the nerdy guy.
Like Kenneth?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's gotten a high school diploma from LaSalle. Is LaSalle in Chicago? Oh, yeah, it's on Dearborn Street in Chicago.
Do you think it was legit?
Probably. I bet you could get a degree in business management or accounting. Remember that commercial? Remember Sally Struthers?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have that memorized the way I did, where you could just say all that stuff? Like, she reads this long list of, like...
or pick your own degree or something is the last thing she says, right?
Yeah, the last part is you can choose your degree, major in business management or in accounting. But then before that, it's this long list of...
lists a long list, yeah.
Who wants to make more money? We all do.
We all do, yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube.
I bet it's there. I bet the long version, the 2-hour infomercial.
Yeah.
All right, the next story. This one's awesome.
Oh, yeah. The Legion's Lost Home. This time it's written by Carrie Bates, but it's also Mike Grell, like the first story, does the pencils and inks. Joe Letteries on letters, and Murray Boltonoff is the editor.
Carrie Bates is a freak.
That's what I hear. He looks, in all the pictures I've seen of him, he looks like he stepped out of Easy Rider. But they're all 70s photos.
Yeah, I've never seen, I think I've seen, is he on the cover of one of those Amazing World of DC Comics? So like he's drawn by like Kurt Schaffenberger or somebody did them.
Oh, I don't know. I'd love to see that.
It's like a couple of those Woodchucks guys on the cover of one of those. And like, you know, it's like Marv Wolfman and Carrie Bates and like Mr. Talkie-Tawny or somebody. And it's all drawn by Kurt Schaffenberger.
That's awesome.
So this is the comic where it's an untold story of the Legion Clubhouse. They're hauling away the old yellow rocket ship clubhouse to the dump to make way for the new Legion headquarters. And they're using these pretty rad, like, I don't know, space tow trucks.
And this is a flashback. This is a flashback.
It's an untold tale.
But only the first page.
Well, but the whole thing takes place in the past, right? I mean, I guess not. I don't know when the substitutes actually took over that as their headquarters.
Some time must have passed, unless the Legion were just being extra big dicks to the subs, because they've taken it to the junkyard, and then do you think they just dropped it off at the junkyard and then told them they could have it, like the same day? You can have it. You have to go to the junkyard to get it.
Cost you $500 to get it out of there.
I mean, presumably, it's been a while, and then later they're like, "Oh yeah, we could go back and pick up that old clubhouse."
The Legion's been using the newer clubhouse for a long time, right?
I think since that Mordrew story, right? They've been using it for quite a while at this time, more than 10 years.
And so this flashes back to when they take away because the current Legion headquarters sits on the same site as the yellow rocket ship, right? Right.
So
but you're saying that the substitute heroes in whatever the present day.
I'm pretty sure, because the subs, other than it being like insanely complicated to have, like, because it would mean there's like 2 flashbacks or a flashback within a flashback.
I love those.
Yeah. But the subs are wearing the Mike Grell costumes.
This is the only time they wear those, right?
Yes. Except for Night Girl, maybe, but she's not even in this, I don't think. Unless we're presupposing that they wore the Mike Grell ones many years ago and dumped them.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
I think this must be when they first get to headquarters, but maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, they're hauling off the rocket ship headquarters.
To the junkyard.
We got Brainiac 5, Cosmic Boy, Shadowlass, and Superboy.
Right, and it's a little weird. I think the new headquarters was around when Shadowlass showed up.
Oh, beats the hell out of me. I'm the perfect reader for this because I have no idea, no recollection.
Right.
So it's in the junkyard, and what I guess some time passes, and then Cosmic Boy and Shadowlass show up again, and they meet this super helpful, whatever, old junkyard keeper.
Well, first we should point out that the Enterprise is explicitly there.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this panel,
and
right?
the Jupiter 2 from
Jupiter
Lost
2 is
in Space.
Lost in Space,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But over here is the 2001 space pod.
Oh yeah.
Just they did this in like fucking Phantom Menace or something too, right? There's this junkyard in Phantom Menace where he goes to like find the parts to build C-3PO.
Oh, he snuck ET in one of those. That's all I know.
Oh, there's another one here. This is some kind of Flash Gordon ship in this panel.
Oh yeah, even has like the fine lines, like the old newspaper drawings.
I wonder if this one is it like Kal-El's rocket from Krypton, maybe?
Oh yeah, I just figured it was like the U.S. Capitol, like the ruins of the Capitol building in the future.
Yeah.
But then we see that Cosmic Boy and Shadowlass have arrived on the scene. And they want permission to go through their old headquarters because they accidentally left a secret weapon on board.
Yeah, you would think they would have really cleaned it out, got everything out of there.
Right. A lot of stuff in there to keep track of.
Guess so. But it's really like here's the headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this wide, right?
Oh yeah.
And a person is about this wide. So like inside of this, like you could fit like 6 people on there, and it's about 3 floors tall. Like each room is about
It's bigger on the inside than the outside.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe it just goes way far back. You're just assuming it's round. It's really like long.
Oh, it's like yeah. Oh yeah, we're actually over in this panel. You can see the top of it and see that it's round.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even if it's 20 stories tall, but the rooms can only accommodate 6 people at one time, like you can't have a giant lab in there or a giant arsenal or like a training center. You can't have any of that stuff. No wonder this isn't a dump. It sucks.
But maybe Brainiac 5 has a pocket dimension in there, huh? It's like the TARDIS, as Doctor Who fans know.
Mm-hmm, the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm. So, and they seem to be very close, too. Like, they seem a little lovey-dovey. Like, maybe they got something going on the side that they haven't been telling.
Oh, yeah, he calls her babe or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It won't be long now, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's right here. And she's like, it's going to be long when I get hold of it.
Man, it'd be more interesting if they really were having like an affair and Cosmic Boy had to worry about Largan finding out.
Like vaporizing.
Burning his dick off or something.
He's like, hey, Cosmic Boy, kiss your dick goodbye. They go into the clubhouse and the lights come on suddenly, which is typical of old atomic generators. They left some old atomic stuff in their headquarters and just threw it in the trash.
It couldn't be something simple like the lights just flick on when you walk in, like a lot of walk-in coolers and stuff do nowadays. It had to be explained by some fluctuating residual electricity.
Cosmic Boy, the so-called Cosmic Boy, He uses some crowbar to break open a piece, and he's like, how's that for beautiful? The only flawless Pyram jewel in the solar system, untouched and exactly where I stashed it.
It's such a lame-ass excuse to get in there. It's like they're going in because they want a valuable jewel, but they don't want to arise suspicion, so they tell the guy, we're looking for like a deadly weapon.
They could have told him the truth and still got in, right? Like, oh, we left something very valuable in here, valuable to the Legionnaires.
Whereas what the excuse they gave might, of course, this is a science police officer we're talking about, but you'd think maybe he'd call the bomb squad and stuff like, oh, there's something really dangerous in there. He should have been like, I left my old jacket in there.
This Joker's not even a science police. Like, he's got a star, but he's like, I'm a guard the city assigned to keep unauthorized personnel away.
He's like a rent-a-pig.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
Couldn't even get into the science academy.
He's not one of the 100 worthless science police pieces of crap on Earth.
Right.
Yeah, he's a rent-a-cop. Or some retired. He's old. He's a retired security cop. Yeah. He's like the bank dick.
Oh, yeah. It's my job to guard the junk. Make sure no one runs off with a broken down cruiser.
Yeah, he got this job because he can't stay awake, right? Like, he drinks.
Yeah, he's usually asleep. He's sleeping standing up.
This is a funny line. The Cosmic Boy and Shadowlass here, there's a mysterious voice surprises them from off panel, and he's like, hello, Cosmic Boy. As they used to say in the 20th century, long time no see. They don't say that no more in the future. They say stuff like, it won't be long now, baby. But they don't say long time no see anymore. That's like if Shakespeare showed up.
Right.
Yeah, they don't, and I don't recognize him either. Who is this guy?
Stone Boy.
He's Stone Boy and he turns to stone. They don't get it because they only know the Legionnaires. They don't know that they're the substitutes.
One of those knockoff guys.
And at this point, as the readers, we would have still thought that this is actually Cosmic Boy and Shadowlass, but they're not. They're imposters. So they don't know who this guy is who turns to stone, and they get wrapped up in some plants. They don't know who that's doing that. It's a
chlorophyll kid.
He's got him.
Yep.
Wraps him up in some vines.
Looks like he's been working out a little bit, toned up.
Wasn't he always kind of thin and superheroic body type before Giffen got to him? Like that, the fat version is later on, right? Or was he fat? But then anytime Grell drew him, he was muscular. I
think maybe you're right, because I drew a picture of him, or I redrew a picture of him a couple years ago, and I think he was thinner.
Yeah, he was maybe thinner, but he had like the baggy costume. But he was not a chubby guy.
Right.
Giffen just wanted to introduce some different body types. And so he made the comedic guy fat, which
the comedic member of
shouldn't really be doing that. It's kind of
you gotta let go, David. It's a long time ago. You're thin now. Thinnish.
Cosmic Boy sets his stun gun to kill. Sets his phasers on stun, and then he switches it to kill. So he can try and kill Chlorophyll Kid.
Dick move.
But then out of nowhere comes Fire Lad, blowing some fire. And it turns out these aren't Cosmic Boy, and I keep wanting to say Saturn Girl instead of Shadowlass. It's Shadowlass.
Right.
Turns out they're fake imposters. They unmask them.
I always accidentally call Shadowlass Phantom Girl.
They were best friends. It turns out the guy who's the imposter, Cosmic Boy, he's kind of bald. Then the imposter Shadowlass has some of that weird, like, big eye makeup that they used a lot of times in the 70s Legion. Like, like Anne
Like-
Ride and
like in
Charma
the very
had
yeah,
that.
in the very next issue, which was one of the first ones we covered.
Oh yeah, Calorie Queen has that. Yeah, you're right. Go back and watch that episode. It's real good. Just kidding. I bet it sucks.
We were better then. No. We're running on fumes.
We're about 6 months into it now.
Yeah, this guy is got to be a retiree. He seems pretty clueless.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's not a science police officer.
Right. He doesn't seem agitated or alarmed or anything. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know they had a substitute legion made up of rejects.
Yeah, sure is lucky you fellas showed up here.
Mm-hmm.
He has the deed to the clubhouse and
Mhm.
he gives it to him at the end.
Now, I don't remember its subsequent appearances, but I like to think that they never were able to or bothered to move it. Like, it's still in the junkyard. It's still crooked. They're just having their meetings in there. And, like, when you see them in their meetings, their table's a little slanted.
Like one guy's leaning away up against the wall.
Right.
I'm curious why or how two criminals stashed a valuable jewel in Legion headquarters.
Well, they make some talk about how they had great memories here, too, right? Like, and there's no one watching them. Maybe they spent a lot of time in prison there.
Like they were in the holding cell of Legion
Right.
headquarters. But why would they leave their stuff there?
Well, like before they were maybe being moved to another prison, they stashed it.
To me, it just seems like the least likely place that you would ever get back into is Legion headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he just didn't want the police to get it because the police would take it and they would profit from it somehow, right? Like it's supposed to be in the evidence room, but it mysteriously winds up lost. And there's some
Right.
rich cop out there now who's buying a boat,
Yeah.
retiring early because I don't know how he got all that money. But if you follow the clues, yeah, he sold a valuable jewel. Where did he ever get that from? There happens to be a valuable jewel missing from the evidence room. Couldn't be the same one, though, right? Because cops are honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this bald guy did the right thing. Stowed it in Legion headquarters because those guys are above reproach.
Shadowlass says here she's getting emotional and nostalgic. She has so many memories of this old place. But maybe there's memories of being holed up in there, like in the holding cell.
But she might be being sarcastic, too, right? Like, who knows? It doesn't really make too much sense, this comic.
Yeah, it's a good story anyway.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned how
Mm-hmm.
maybe they didn't ever take the headquarters out of the junkyard. Then they would be like the three investigators. That's who they'd be like.
Yeah.
So they had a motorhome headquarters that was buried in the junkyard. One of the three investigators' father owned the junkyard, and they had like a camper trailer, but it was buried under stuff.
Uh-huh.
But they crawled through a tube to get into it, and they had their reference library. They had a desk, and a telephone.
That sounds awesome. I don't think I read those, but it sounds like right out of the Goonies or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was really good. I mean, I never read much of anything. I'm not a big reader,
Yeah.
but I read a couple of those, and they were fun. I liked them. Three investigators.
The three investigators.
That's it for Superboy 211. The ultimate revenge. Making you watch this video is the ultimate revenge.
Long live the Legion. I must leave now.